Yes.
Okay. Actually, I would like to go to the theme, but I can say in the context a few words about myself. I start with, I met with Franjo 72, 73, and then we were learning about yoga and meditation and such things. Magic, what was astral projections. And I went to India when I was 18 and learned about various things, and I came back and then started transcendental meditation and was professionally teaching transcendental meditation for 16 years. And I was in celibacy at that point because it was propaganda that spiritual aspirations and sex can't go together. And that is what I want to talk about today. What is the source of that idea? What is at the root of the idea that something is wrong with sex? Our culture is obviously frustrated with sexuality, and we can see it in copious use of courses. We have a translation?
We don't need it, it's English.
Everyone can follow me. Curses, you understand? It's okay. So curses in which we use vulgar names for our sex organs and sexual act are showing that we are very frustrated with our sexuality. I don't know for other countries, we see it in the movies, but in Croatia we curse a lot. We use the swearing words. And that shows that we have very opposite feelings regarding our sexuality. The whole culture is like this, Western culture. Has opposite feelings regarding its sexuality. And we also find in most of spiritual movements, teachings, there is idea that spiritual aspirations and materiality, money, sex can't go together. Or you are spiritual or you are in sex. So there is idea about celibacy, that we should abstain from sex if we want to spiritual develop. And also it's male experience in whole history of humankind. Whenever a male wanted to achieve something extraordinary, something above the average, he was advised to abstain from sex. Whether it be in the field of science or art or sport or even in business. A few years ago there was an idea in America among businessmen that one should have sex only once a month if he wants to be fit for business. And also we know about sportsmen that when they have some special encounter, they abstain from sex even for a year or something, if it is something very important. So from where does come that idea that sex is wrong? I want to tell you that many ideas that are propagated as spiritual truths actually comes from male politics. You understand that? Many ideas that are propagated as spiritual truths are actually male politics, patriarchal politics, and they have nothing to do with spirituality. That's very important to notice, because there is spiritual propaganda. This is true, this is true, this is true, but many of these ideas, if we investigate what is behind them, we find it is male way of thinking. It's against women. Many spiritual ideas are against women and woman nature. And it's very important to notice. So when I also came into celibacy under influence of that propaganda that it is necessary, and maybe because of some personal experiences in childhood. So I catch that, and I thought, well, maybe one day if I find ideal partner, then I will start into communion. But before that, celibacy is better. Better to be alone than to be in something halfway. So that was my way of thinking. And then years were going on, and then I realized that it is easier to get enlightenment than to find the right partner. There is a joke from Osho, Rajneesh, about that. One man was looking for ideal woman, and then he heard for some woman on Hawaii, and he went there. And then after a year, a friend met him on the street and asked him, "Oh, I heard that you found the ideal woman." "Yes, I did." "Oh, tell me about that. What happened? What was up?" "Well, she was looking for ideal man, so there was nothing." When I start to feel that after 16 years of teaching meditation professionally, getting a lot of knowledge and experience, my heart was shrunk. No? My mind was expanding, but my heart was shrunk. No? It was not developed. Shrink. So I felt that I can't develop anymore if I don't open my heart. Something was wrong. And I was not very in religious feelings, not feeling something about personal God. It was not my way. I was not constantly with my guru physically. No? I got a lot of knowledge, but I was not physically with him. So I felt there is no way for my heart to develop. Only way would be to associate with a woman. And then what about sexuality? What to do about that? Because classical sex was, according to male experience, is against spirituality. So later on, I started with Tantra. I heard about Tantra before, but I thought, well, for me, celibacy. But then I realized that we can learn from every experience. That if we wait for ideal partner, it can last for centuries. But from each meeting, we can learn something. Maybe with some person we can't go forever, but we can make 3 steps or 7 steps or 5 steps, and from that 5 steps we can learn something, we can develop, we can become more integrated and more ready for some more integrated relationship. No? So I entered that way of thinking, and then it started to happen. And regarding sexuality, I solved the problem by applying tantric approach. So, what is at the basis of frustration with sexuality, and at the basis of male's idea that sex is not good for spirituality? I was investigating in later years, and the last 10 years we have a lot of scientific investigations regarding hormonal changes in our body during lovemaking. I gathered all those data and connected it with experience in Tantra, that we have in Tantra. And so I think that's the reason why, and I want to explain it to you now. When we enter into intimacy, there is a sharp rise of hormones that are creating good feelings. Oxytocin is rising. Oxytocin is called hormone of love. Hormone of love. That hormone is making us open to communication, to other people, creating warm feelings. It is a hormone that creates sociability, that creates connection among people. So when we enter into intimacy with a partner, there is very great production of oxytocin. And that is why we can feel warm and intimate and open. Then there is another hormone, dopamine. It's very important even for creating desire for physical intimacy. And it is hormone of happiness. It creates nice feelings. If you feel good to be with that person, it's nice, warm, safe. Another hormone that is rising when we get into intimacy with another person is a group of hormones, endorphins. Endorphins, you probably heard, they are very popular last 15-20 years. They are also creating that feeling of happiness, but also a feeling of connection. Endorphins, they are similar to morphine. So they are creating dependency on the partner. It is just person that we want to be with. That is due to endorphins. So all that rise up when we start to be intimate with someone, in females and in males alike. Now, also rises sexual excitation, and all these hormones are higher, getting more higher and higher. But at the moment of orgasm, local orgasm, clitoral orgasm in women and ejaculation in men, all these nice hormones start to fall down, and another hormone is getting up. It is prolactin. Prolactin blocks sexual desire, blocks further desire for intimacy, also creates some feeling of alienation, feeling of emptiness. We don't want to be more with that person. And all men who remember how the experience of classic sex and ejaculation, they know what I'm talking about. After ejaculation, men don't like you anymore. That is our nature. When we ejaculate, that partner with whom we have a relationship is not interested anymore. There are evolutionary, biological explanations for that. Because life wants to grow, and one way of growing is genetical variety. Genetical variety. If you are constantly with the same partner, there is no much genetical variety in offspring. So there is, it seems, we explain it in that way. Probably it is that. Nature has built that stop blocking of further desire to be with the same partner. And that rise of prolactin, it can go up even for 2 weeks after intercourse. When we meet same partner, prolactin suddenly rises up and creates some blockage towards further intimacy with that partner. That's very interesting, even for 2 weeks. But another partner is interested, yes. They say no. That is how we are built. So it seems that this is the basis of that frustration with sex. We enter into intimacy with great expectation, with great enthusiasm, with nice feelings, but after orgasm suddenly what I was doing and why, I don't remember anymore. In men it is often like that. In men prolactin rises much more sharply, and oxytocin, dopamine and endorphins are falling more sharply than in women. In women, it's more, it's medium, it's not so sharp, not so strong. And also there is advantage in women that they have many other opportunities to rise in oxytocin. Oxytocin can be produced by many various ways in women. But in men it seems that only physical intimacy is main way to produce oxytocin. That is why men need, they need physical contact very much. How do you prove that you love me? You prove me if you give yourself to me. There is no other way for men. Oh, I love you. How do you love me? Shall we have sex? Okay, then you love me. If you not, then you don't love me. It's very simple with men. Because we have no other way to produce oxytocin. Only by physical contact. It's mainly like that. So we enter into intimacy, into sex with great enthusiasm, and after orgasm, suddenly emptiness. Normally, it takes about 3 days for that cycle to harmonize again. So after ejaculation, sudden rise of prolactin, then within 20 hours, testosterone is rising up in men very sharply, and it attains peak about 20 hours after ejaculation. We have a lot of testosterone, and that makes men a bit aggressive, irritable. Irritability, aggression, and in Chinese tradition, it is considered that most violent crimes are done within 24 hours after ejaculation, after intercourse. And in business also, men after ejaculation, they have tendency for risky moves, risky behavior. Also in driving, in the car, on the street, we are prone to risky behavior. So then gradually it comes down, and after 2 to 3 days we are again can feel alive. Oxytocin is rising up, dopamine is rising up gradually, and we feel normally, and again our partner is desired. But it can take only for 2 weeks. There are some researchers. So I want to show first slide. Oh, you can't see it much.
Yes, we can. It's okay.
Is it okay?
Yes.
So we have what we have here. This is movement, changes in energy level with ordinary people with ordinary sex. So when we feel that we have energy and partner is interesting, or in some other way we enter into sexual activity. That is energy level 1. We are fit for sex. And then we empty ourselves in some way, either with partner or without partner, and we fall to 0. There is several days are needed for recuperation, that we get normal. Again, we rise in energy, we are on 1, we enter sexual activity, we fall to 0, then again we recuperate, we get to 1, have sexual activity, fall to 0, and so on. And life goes like that. Whole society is constantly in the state of recovering from sexual activity. That is why there is not much progress, because after ejaculation, men feel it is a state of depression. We have no high aspirations. Do you know why there are about on all alternative courses? There is about 70% of participants are women. Why? Because they don't have that sharp fall in oxytocin. They don't have such big depression. They are only depressed because they feel that they are no more desirable. Partner has gone away for some reason. Why? What's in his head? He liked me just a minute ago, and now he's away. And for 3 days, it's very unpleasant. So, prolactin that phases, prolactin, testosterone, it creates depression in them. Life is not sparkling. Life is not so interesting. We are going through, we are dragging through life, but there is no ecstasy. There is no creativity. We remember that if man wants to be creative, he has to abstain from sex. Then he can achieve something. I heard about Tesla, Nikola Tesla, great scientist from former Yugoslavia. Yeah, Croatia. He had idea, he actually get himself castrated He castrated himself with the idea that he will be more creative in his investigations. I think it was not a very good idea of his, but it was such way of thinking. So that is what happens, and I think that is at the basis of whole our negativity towards sex, at the basis of idea that celibacy is necessary for spiritual development, because man in that phase also doesn't have spiritual aspirations, no any aspiration. He's just recuperating himself, recovering from sex. And as soon as he has energy, again sex, and then down again. And now, some Eastern thinkers came to an idea to avoid local orgasm, to bypass clitoral orgasm in women and ejaculation in men. We have two nerves by which we can experience orgasm. Actually, in women there are 4. In men 2. And in women 4 nerves through which women can experience orgasm. Fantastic. Now, 2 main nerves through which we can experience orgasm are pudendal nerve, pudendal, stidi živac, pudendal nerve. Do you have idea what it is?
Kali, can you translate, please?
It's a nerve down in the down belly, how do you say? Schambein. Schambein.
Yeah, okay, okay.
So it comes from the belly side of the spinal cord, yeah, and it has short branches to penis and clitoris. And when we are excited and that nerve is firing, then we have that local orgasm, ejaculation and clitoral orgasm. But we can transfer excitation to another nerve, pelvic nerve. Zdjelični živac.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yeah,
Yes?
yeah.
When we transfer excitation to that nerve, pelvic nerve, which has long extensions, branches through the legs, through bottom, through back. Also, it has branches to G-spot in women and prostatic gland in men. Do prostate doseže. When this nerve is firing, we have that total orgasm, whole body. And women are more often spontaneously experiencing that kind of orgasm in whole body. In men, it is rare spontaneous. I'm giving consultations and courses, and then in my experience, about 2% of men are experiencing spontaneously that complete orgasm. Only 2%. And in women, it can be pretty often, that complete orgasm. Now, what's the main difference between them? That local orgasm through pudendal nerve gives that effect that I was explaining as classical sex. Rise of prolactin, feeling of excitation, depression, lack of interest for our partner and for opposite sex for some time. So these are the effects. Few seconds plus and then sex is no more interesting. When we have that complete orgasm to pelvic nerve, there is feeling of fullness. Feeling of fullness, that we are full. For women intuitively feel that making love is spiritual experience. Women know it intuitively. For men, it is more physical. They don't have that experience. Now, when women have that complete orgasm through pelvic nerve, she feels that expansion of awareness. She has that taste of spirituality. Now, that's an interesting point that in spite of the fact that women intuitively know that making love is spiritual experience, men have succeeded to persuade women that spirituality has nothing to do with sex. That's absurd, no? It's very absurd. Women know that sex is spiritual experience, but man has pressed that idea that sex is opposite to spirituality. It's very strange. And women believe it. Many women believe that. So it's male politics, no? That is what I call it. It's male politics. It has nothing to do with spirituality. This way of experiencing orgasm and without ejaculation can be learned. This can be learned, and that is what we teach in Tantra and in Taoistic traditions. Actually, there is a legend that Tantric approach to sexuality, that all those ideas came from China, and then they spread to Tibet and India. So that is what basically we teach. To avoid local orgasm, to have that complete orgasm, to bypass ejaculation. When we have sex in that way, there is no rise of prolactin. Oxytocin, dopamine, endorphins remain on high level, prolactin is remaining low, and so after sex we are continuing in the state of ecstasy. We are more in love with our partner. That's very important. Now, man is able to love. Before that, he is only able to have sex. And after sex, nothing. Now, when man have that complete orgasm and he finished intercourse without ejaculation, energy comes here and comes here. And now we are ready to love. Now man is able to have deep emotional connection with woman. Now only man is ready partner, appropriate partner for woman. No? Before that, no. We are only able to have biological sex, no? But not spiritual sex. And basically that's it. There is nothing else. I call this process cherishing physiology of love. Cherishing physiology of love. That is what we are doing. And of course we need to have some exercises to get rid of the habit to empty ourselves. No? We need to exercise to have that complete orgasm instead of local orgasm. It takes some time, several weeks, months, a year or two. And then we can finally have that complete orgasm in whole body, without ejaculation and without clitoral orgasm. After such sex, we are full of ecstasy, full of energy. Actually, as soon as we allow ourselves sexual excitement, we rise up Kundalini. Kundalini is getting into unstable state. No? As soon as we are sexually excited, Kundalini is unstable. But in classical sex, soon we just dissipate that energy. In Tantra, when we approach in this way, when men have control of ejaculation, so he can last in intercourse, we can last. Everything is about lasting. No? Now in Tantra, we simply last in union, in physical connection. We are completely connected and we last in that union. And everything else is developing from that lasting in union. There is no any other secret. Everything goes automatically. No? And automatically we want to unite. And now when we learn to last in that unity, everything else comes automatically. Expansion of awareness, ecstasy, Kundalini is rising, higher states of consciousness, everything comes by itself. There is no any other secrets. That's all. We simply should last in unity. And that's integration, and that's development of spirituality, of personality, everything comes from there. So I think Tantra is not something exotic. Tantra is new sexual standard that we should accept. Tantra is cultural standard that we should accept. That's all. And that is how we should talk about it. Tantra is a new cultural standard. Better way to have sex, to make love. Nothing exotic, nothing secret. It should be ready for everyone. We should talk about that to the people and make propaganda, like they are propagating Coca-Cola and such things. We should propagate Tantra because it's better way. Actually, many problems that we find in our civilization, we can trace down to ignorant sex. Because of what we found, prolactin and testosterone. This is very healing combination. Wars, destruction, ecological problems, we can trace to that combination of prolactin and testosterone in men who are ruling the world. So I believe strongly that Tantra should be a solution for many civilizational problems, many problems of civilization. Because feeling is completely different. After now, when woman has a partner that can follow her, moving in energy, in sexuality, we achieve that state, much deeper state of experience. We achieve spirituality. Both sides develop. We go among people with that high levels of oxytocin, endorphin, dopamine. Life experience is completely different than classical sense. Okay, I would ask you to help me to develop further the points by questions. So I told to tell you the essence. Yes, please.
Have you a microphone?
I would like to ask you a thing concerning orgasm in women. As you know, and as the studies say, most women, or a high percentage of women, cannot achieve orgasm. And what do you think about this fact? Wouldn't it be important for, how to say in English, accomplishment, the completion, the vollständigung of the woman, of her progress, of her, and to become more healthy, that she should also first achieve the ability to have an orgasm. Also this clitoral orgasm, I mean, for which you said it's not so good because of the hormones.
Yes, I agree. It's a matter of learning. Why we don't achieve orgasm? Probably it's in great percentage due to cultural, to inculturation. We have negative attitudes towards sex. It is inherited from our culture, from childhood and so on. So we have blockages towards sex. So of course we should overcome it. And okay, and on that way we should learn to have clitoral orgasms, and then we should learn to develop it into a complete orgasm. And then to have tantric partner is great help in that, on that part. The partner who loves, and who is not concerned with himself, who can dedicate himself to us because he's already integrated. Yes?
I mean, maybe better you that you ask. I would have a lot of questions.
So, okay.
But just one.
Yes.
You said now in the last part of the lecture, you said like the woman then has the task actually to guide the man to come in this tantra culture actually. And how do you advise women to help the man? How do you advise women to become more assertive to do this job? Since we are grown up in a culture which is not so much emphasizing these female abilities.
Yeah, I think from this point is a bit difficult. Tantra itself, it seems, started from matriarchal culture that was existing on the place of today's India and Pakistan about 7,000 years ago. It was called Kali-Mat civilization, culture. It was Dravidian culture. Dravidians like Aborigines in Australia today and the Tantrics on the south of India. Now they're yes, ideas about Tantra, but that is another source of information. We don't know exactly. That is another source of information. They were...
Excuse me, Davor.
Yes.
I will say that it was through the history of mankind on different places, in different cultures, the people get... Can you hear me?
Yes.
The people get the experience, that they get insight. Huh? Hello?
Hello? I think in different cultures, through the history of mankind, the people get insight, the people get knowledge about. But always again and again it happens suppression of this knowledge. But we have it probably in different cultures. I mean,
yes,
speaking about also about Indian Tantra, Kodushka, I mean, America's Indians, huh? And so on. So it's India, it's China, it's Croatia now.
Yeah. So in that Kali-Mat civilization, they were traders and they have agriculture. And I have been there in Pakistan, today's Pakistan, that remnants of cities, Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, you heard about that? They had that aqueducts, you know, and closed how is it called, for water, wastewater to go away, sewage. Yes, it was closed, and it was highly developed culture. And when I was in Pakistan, it was 1975, they have opened that cloak water, black water. It was going through the streets, you know. It's difference of 7,000 years in cultural achievements. Okay, and then Aryans came from the north of Asia about 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, and they started to conquer that citizens of Dravidian culture, and they brought Vedas. You know? And Aryans were a male-dominant society with male gods, and they were raiding cattle. They were not agriculturists, and so for themselves, they preserved the caste of priesthood and warriorhood, and all the inhabitants were peasants and traders. That was the development. Okay, so.
Sorry to insist. But how do you now in your everyday
yes.
practice to the women
Now
to be more assertive and to do this task you said? Because in our society we are not taught to do this.
Yes, now we have what situation? We are living in the culture of weak man who has no power. And they are ruling the world, and in such culture, women has to develop male qualities in order to survive. Actually, that's interesting. All those methods of spiritual development, like meditation, yoga, breathing, all this is man's way of thinking. These are not females' techniques. No? They are meant for males, discipline and all these things. For females, main way of development is emotions, love and sexuality. If woman has an appropriate partner, she can develop simply through love and sexuality. Nothing else is necessary. For men, we need meditation and discipline and all these things, but for women, love and sexuality would be enough. Now, we don't have it, so it's difficult how to get out of this point. I think we should work in this way parallelly. Teach man how to be more man, and this is exactly through his ability to last in unity. To last in unity. As soon as we last in unity as one being, everything else should be developed. I want just another slide to show you if it will be possible. Yes. So we said in classic sex we have that 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. In tantric sex we have rise of energy. With each intercourse we are building on the basis of previous experience. So we have 4, 7, 8, 17, 15. We don't know where is the end. And that is actual experience with lasting partner, permanent partner. Each time we are going to higher and higher levels of energy and ecstasy. It is like building energetic mansion, crown, temple, energetic temple, tantric temple with each intercourse. And maybe we ask my partner to say something about that a bit later if she will be. No. Okay. So it is actual experience. It is not just well. It sounds nice. It is actual experience that with each intercourse we are building on the levels of previous, like building energetic temple, tantric temple. It's something completely new from that 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Can you tell me so this is the presentation of. Can you see it at all? In classic sex, we have that rise in endorphin, dopamine, oxytocin. When we enter intimacy, then we reach orgasm, and then it falls down. And prolactin is down until we reach orgasm, and then it goes down. That's another slide. And in tantric sex, we have constant rise of oxytocin, dopamine, endorphin. We can have several orgasms. Men can also learn how to have several orgasms during one intercourse without ejaculation. It means erection remains. We continue with intercourse. It can last. Now it lasts as long as we have time. There is no limit. There is no limit. Only outer limits there are. We have to eat. We have to do something else. Otherwise, we are constantly in desire to be in unity. And then it translates into activity. We go into activity in that high state. Okay, any questions?
Davor, perhaps I understood it wrong. You said that the man, in order to achieve this tantric sex, which gives him the spiritual experience, he just has to last in unity. And you said nothing else he has to do, all happens by itself. But as we happens by itself. But as we know from our experience, it is exactly very hard for the man just to stay long in unity. And so there has to be several conditions how he can stay in unity. What are you teaching?
Yes, yes. Of course, first we have exercises how to diminish sensitivity of our sex organs, of penis. We diminish sensitivity by certain exercises, and then I don't know how exactly you do it here, but probably I don't know the details. We learn how to transfer that excitation to pelvic nerve. There are exercises for that, and well, these are simple exercises. So man needs maybe 15 minutes each day for first several months, and then later on, when he achieved that level of the ability to conserve energy, he has regular intercourses, he can drop off individual exercises. And then, of course, well, at the beginning we should also pay attention more to outer conditions. to be well rested, to be clear in mind, no? To have enough time, to be more attentive. Because if we are tired, we can't rise energy. No? We have tendency to dissipate energy. So there are more outer conditions that we should follow at the beginning, but once we get into a habit to rise the energy, not to dissipate it, then it is easier. It is like riding bicycle, no? Like learning to ride bicycle. At the beginning we need more attention, we are falling down and so on, but then after a while it's automatic. And I also compare it with the training in our culture that we all have passed, and it is for controlling passing of urine and stool. No? As a children, we didn't have conscious control over those muscles. No? But then our parents put us attention to that. No? You should not do it here, you should go to the toilet. So gradually we made connection, how to control it. And we all passed and...
That's a very good example.
Yes.
Because with many other things, with our brain and the nervous system, it's possible to develop consciousness and on the basis of consciousness also control.
Right. So thanks to that training, we don't have to wear diapers today. Huh? We are going free. But in our culture, we were not taught how to control ejaculation. But it's very similar. Huh? We need some exercises, they are very simple. And then after a while we make connection, and then mainly it goes automatically. Now, because ejaculation is a reflex, it has biological function, so it's a heroic undertaking. It's not so simple. Man has to overcome that biological drive to impregnate woman. That biological drive is very strong. So it's pretty undertaking that requires a man. And that is why not many men are ready to learn it. They say, oh, doesn't matter. I more enjoy football or drinking or drugs. Sex is over-evaluated. So many, great percentage of society, we have idea that sex is over-evaluated. Yeah, overestimate. That it is overestimated. That is not so important and it doesn't impact well. It's better to drink or to take narcotics or to go to shopping than to have sex. That's very concerning. I think it's alarming, that idea. It's very alarming. It means our society is ill. Something is wrong. Does it answer your question?
I asked because in old tantric scriptures and also in Komaja's teaching, there is putting a lot of emphasis about the psychic preconditions for men and for women to succeed in that what you are now technically describing.
Yes, I go from another end. We can have various approaches from psychic, mental, physical. I believe that each our emotion, our thought has its biological, hormonal counterpart. And I believe that through physical means, through changing our physiology, we can change our mood, our way of thinking. Yes, man can't be in love if he is constantly ejaculating. We see it in marriages. We get into marriage, we are in love, and after 2-3 years, number of intercourses are falling down. After several years, there is no love. In 80% of marriages, there is no love after 5, 6, 7 years. That is because I consider that this is because the physiology of love has been exhausted through ignorant sex. That's my explanation. So this way of tantric sex I call cherishing of physiology of love. I think by that way, without thinking, without philosophizing, we can experience love. Because as soon as man rise up his energy, if he's not ejaculating, he's spontaneously feeling love, more interest for her partner, for his partner, and spontaneously he is able for deeper emotional relationship. Without any philosophizing, oh, love is great, you should love, you should be in love, open your heart. If I ejaculate, how do you I love? I can't hear anything. No? I can't listen, I go away, I go to drink or something. I don't feel good. That is, with men, it's such situation. What to do? We are made like that. But as soon as we overcome that impulse to ejaculate, if we avoid it, completely different situation. Then we are spontaneously, automatically able to love without preaching love. That happens. So that's my approach, I think. Well, it's helpful.
Prava zavjera tamo, onaj kut, samo te žene.
Is in your teaching, there is a place for kind of individual tantra. If tantra is transformation of sexuality into higher consciousness, and I hear it's only in couples, or it seems to me that if I don't have a couple, then I cannot do tantra. I have like a gap somewhere.
I see. Well, of course, we are only woman and man together a complete human being. We are complete human being only when we are together with opposite sex. If we are by ourselves, we are not complete human being. This single approach is more in yoga. It's yoga path to be single, and then of course it is better to use our sexual energy than to abandon it and try to suppress it. So if you are single, you can also cherish your sexuality and learn to have that complete orgasm, and it's better for your health, and for mental state. So you can practice by yourself also. But of course it's more recommendable to have a partner who will be with us and with whom we will grow together. It's more recommendable. But there is possibility to practice ourselves. Actually, it's better to start by ourselves, because we have individual exercises that we do without partner, and in that way we prepare ourselves, especially for men. It is good to take several months for individual exercises, even if they don't have partner. And in that way we are also opening ourselves to have partner.
Especially in this Kadoshka way, it gives exercises for experience alone.
It's good to learn. We can actually, when we are with partner, there is much more excitation. So it can prevent us from learning, because it's so exciting. So it's good to have some time for practicing it by yourself.
I often experience that when it comes to begin this art of being together with women, that I often experience the women run away. It was too close, and then always, so I'm so tired always to new women, and then if it comes to this point, they run away, and then what planning for this?
Well, of course, we need that readiness from the other side also, to be open and to give herself to us, and we should be integrated enough to create that confidence in partner, that she can open to us completely. We need to work from both sides, and I believe in that learning to experience. We should not avoid experience. Okay, if you find a partner and we can't go whole life with him or her, maybe we can go for a few days and we learn something. No? We get more integrated, more ripe, and more ready for more complete relationship. So even if relationship is not complete, we should not avoid it. If it comes, let's learn something from that, become more wise, and then go far. That's our work, I think, important. Does it answer the question?
Yeah, something.
We need readiness, you know.
For me, perhaps I can learn, try once more, next time, every time, always go the risk that it doesn't happen what I want. Something like this. Get the risk for the frustration that when it comes to the point of good intimacy, then it can be too much for this women, and I have to look once more.
Yeah. Try in another country. Any other question?
How important for you is the time, the longevity of one relationship? How long is the